How many times have you looked in the mirror and thought, I wish I were like them? How many times have you dreamed of living someone else's life, waking up in someone else's body? The modern world constantly whispers to us, you're not enough. Be more beautiful, be more successful, be different. But what if I told you the freedom you seek isn't in trying to be someone you're not, but in being exactly who you are? Today, I'll tell you an ancient story, a crow story, and perhaps your story. Once upon a time, there lived a crow on the branch of a tall plane tree. Every morning, it would wake up, straighten its black feathers, and look at the sky. But there was always a restlessness inside, a feeling of inadequacy. One day, it saw a snow-white swan by the lake. It was so graceful on the water, so magnificent. The crow thought at that moment, that's true beauty. I'm just an ordinary crow, black, harsh-voiced, not graceful at all. And that day, the crow made a decision. It would become like the swan, no matter the cost. For days it watched the swan. It tried to walk like it, made neck movements like it. It even went down to the lake, tried to glide on the water, but its feet weren't like the swan's. Its feathers got wet, became heavy. It was almost drowning. The swan looked at it and said in a soft voice, "Why are you fighting against your own nature, little crow?" But the crow didn't listen. The voice inside was stronger. "You're not trying hard enough. Try more." Epictetus says, "Some things are within our control, others are not." The crow was trying to change something it couldn't change. Its own nature, tired and disappointed, the crow returned to the forest. There it saw a colourful parrot. It was so vibrant on the tree branch, so cheerful, people were gathering around it, admiring it. The parrot could talk, could sing. That's it, thought the crow. Maybe not beauty, but talent. If I can speak like it, if I can be colourful like it. And it started again. It tried to imitate the parrot's voice, but its voice came out hoarse, ridiculous. It rubbed colourful leaves on its feathers, but when it rained they all washed away, and the crow was alone again, inadequate again. Then it saw the peacock. Oh, that magnificent tail! Those dazzling colours! When the peacock spread its tail, it was as if the entire universe revolved around it. Everyone was watching. Everyone was admiring. The crow thought, this must be true freedom. Everyone watching you with admiration. Everyone wanting you. It collected the peacock's feathers, attached them to its wings. It adorned itself, tried to be showy, but when the wind blew, the feathers flew away, and underneath remained only a tired, unhappy crow. It didn't even know who it was anymore. Morning came. For the first time, the crow flew without trying to be someone else. It just flew, and it realized that maybe it wasn't graceful like a swan, but it was free. It felt the wind. It felt the power of its wings. Then it saw something shining on the ground. It descended and found a small piece of mirror. It took it, brought it to its nest. Then another one. Shiny stones, colourful glass. The crow was collecting beautiful things. It was using its intelligence, and it understood. The swan might be graceful, the parrot colourful, the peacock showy, but the crow was intelligent. The crow was free. The crow knew how to survive. Epictetus teaches us this. It's not things that upset you, but your thoughts about things. The crow wasn't unhappy because it was a crow. It was unhappy because it thought being a crow wasn't enough. Locus of control. This is where the heart of Stoicism beats. You cannot be a swan. You cannot be a parrot. You cannot be a peacock. But you can control your own nature, your own virtue, your own mind. Freedom isn't in being someone else. Freedom is in accepting exactly who you are and being the best version of that person. One day the swan, parrot, and peacock came to the crow's nest. They saw that the crow had made a magnificent nest with shiny stones, mirrors, colourful glass. It had used its intelligence. It had lived according to its own nature. The swan said, "What a beautiful nest! I could never make something like this." The parrot said, "How creative! I only imitate, but you create." The peacock said, "My tail is showy, but your mind is free." And the crow understood. Everyone has their own beauty. Everyone has their own path. Freedom is walking on your own path. Marcus Aurelius writes in Meditations, "Everything has a nature. The nature of a grape is to be a grape. Your nature is to be human. So what does it mean to be human? To use your mind, to live virtuously, to act according to nature." The same was true for the crow. The crow's nature was to be intelligent, to be free, to find creative solutions for survival. Not to be white, not to be colourful, not to be showy. You think too, what is your nature? Not others' expectations, not society's moulds. What is your essence, your true nature? Today, as you scroll through social media, look at advertisements, watch others' perfect lives, do you feel like that crow? Do you think, "I wish I were like them"? But remember, that swan might not be able to fly freely like a crow. That parrot might be living in a cage. That peacock might be crushed under its heavy tail. Everyone has a price. Everyone has a struggle. But your freedom, your peace, is hidden only in your nature. Stoicism teaches us this: external things are temporary. Beauty fades. Fame ends. Wealth disappears. But your character, your virtue, the freedom of your mind, these are yours forever. The crow understood that the greatest wealth is in accepting your own nature. The greatest power is in accepting what you cannot change and focusing on what you can change. You can do this too. Look in the mirror and ask, "Who am I?" Not in others' eyes, in your own essence, in your own nature, not who you want to be, who you are. Freedom is not having everything you want. Freedom is wanting what you have. Freedom is loving your own nature. Freedom is stopping comparison. The crow no longer looks at the lake and envies the swan, doesn't look at the forest and want the parrot, doesn't look at the garden and dream of the peacock, because the crow is happy being a crow. The crow is free, and you? Are you still trying to live someone else's life, or are you ready to chart your own path? Epictetus says, "Wealth is not having more than your desires, but needing less." The crow needed few things: its wings, its intelligence, its freedom. These were enough. You think too, what do you really need? Others' approval? Or your own inner peace? Applause from outside? Or wisdom from within? When you accept yourself as you are, magic happens. You no longer compete with anyone. You no longer envy anyone. Because you are you, and that's enough. The crow is now old. It sits on the highest branch of the plane tree. Below, it sees a young crow. The young crow is also looking at the swan. Admiringly, the old crow smiles. It knows that young crow will also embark on the same journey. Maybe it will envy the swan, maybe the parrot, maybe the peacock, but eventually it too will understand. The greatest freedom is in your own nature. The greatest beauty is in your own essence. The greatest power is in your own mind. And maybe one day that young crow will also reach this wisdom, just like you. Now I want to ask you a question. Which bird are you imitating? Which life are you trying to live? And most importantly, do you know your own nature? This week, stand in front of a mirror, look at yourself, not just at your body, but at your soul, and ask, who am I? Who am I really? Set aside others' expectations. Forget society's molds and listen to your own voice. Discover your own nature. Remember Marcus Aurelius's final words, "Death is part of nature. Face it not with fear, but with peace." Likewise, being yourself is also part of nature. Face it not with shame, but with pride. Be like the crow. You might not be graceful like a swan, but you're free. You might not be colorful like a parrot, but you're intelligent. You might not be showy like a peacock, but you're real. And being real, this is true courage. This is true freedom. As Stoic human, I gift you this story. The crow story is your story, my story, everyone's story. Write to me in the comments, which bird did you envy? And now, have you discovered your own nature? Like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel, because every video is a step toward yourself, a step toward freedom. Remember, you are enough, exactly as you are. Be like the crow, be free. Until the next video, stay in peace.